The biggest mistake a fancaster can make is going purely based off of look. And if you've seen some of the most popular Batman fan castings, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So today, we're going to go over 5 Batman fan casts and see how well they would actually fit the role of Batman, and more specifically, James Gunn's new Batman since he's rebooting the new DC Cinematic Universe.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios.
But before we go over any Bat candidates, we need to establish what James Gunn is actually looking for in his new Batman. These are things like age, height, physique, and even just Batman aura in general. So according to James Gunn, Batman might be a couple years older than Superman. And if we know Superman will be the same age as the actor who plays him thanks to this tweet, then we can deduce that Superman will canonically be 31 years old. And that's because David Cornsweet, the new Superman actor, was born on July 8th, 1993, making him 31 years old when he filmed the new Superman movie. So to bring it back to Batman, if he is canonically going to be a couple years older than Superman, then that would put the lower end of our age threshold at 33 years old. Now for the upper end of our age threshold, James Gunn just debunked the rumor that Batman would be middle age. And if we Google at what age middle age starts, we get a couple of answers, but if you just average it out, it's about 40. So my apologies for any 40-year-old that might be watching. Now with all of that in mind, we can pretty confidently say that James Gunn is looking for an actor between the age of 33 and 40. And finally, we reach the more interesting part. We get to discuss a man's body. Now we know that James Gunn wants this new Batman actor to look like he can physically go toe-to-toe with our new Superman. So he's gotta be big. Pause! And if you're waiting for me to pull up an interview or a tweet as proof to back up what I'm saying, you're gonna be waiting a while. I remember him saying it, okay? I can't find it right now.
You need to assess your credibility and invest in your credibility.
Now let's take a look at what this new Batman actor is up against. David Cornsweet is 6'4", but that's not too big of a deal because if you've seen him in the Netflix show Hollywood, you would know that he's a complete string bean. Oh wait, Buddy posted a picture of himself right before filming Superman, and he is a complete beefcake. Now that's going to be hard to compete with, but it's not going to be hard to compare these Batman fan casts because we finally have our criteria. Before we get into any ranking though, I just want to say that if your favorite actor comes in dead last...
Facts don't care about your feelings. And let me tell you something, dear. You must have been the facts. Because you didn't care about my feelings.
So this is going to piss people off, but coming in at number 5 and who I think is the worst Batman fan cast for the new DCU is Jensen Ackles.
Oh, brother, this guy...
Now, before you get up in arms, I do want to preface my reasons as to why he shouldn't be Batman with a couple of positives as to why he could have made a good Batman. So first of all, he is 6'1", and that's only 3 inches shorter than David Cornsweet. And that doesn't really matter too much because we have to assume that no matter who the actor is, the Batsuit will probably have a little bit of a heel in it. Secondly, after watching The Boys, we know he can still get into good shape. And to add on to that point, I know I'm not the only one who saw a little bit of Batman potential in his role as Soldier Boy. And I have to clear that up before some nerd starts typing in the comments. I do not think that Soldier Boy is even remotely close to Batman. I'm referring to his voice and in moments of silence where we see his stoicism, where he's just observing everything. That's what I'm talking about when I say I see the potential for Batman. And finally, I forgot to mention this during the criteria segment, but the Bat family will be fully established by the first time we see Batman in the new James Gunn DCU.
The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne.
Now, the reason that I brought this up is because if the Bat family already exists, that means our new Batman actor has to have some fatherly qualities. And out of all of the actors on my list today, I think Jensen Ackles has the most dad energy. Aww. Now, with all of the glazing out the way, you're probably thinking, Ty, how does he have all of these positive attributes and he's number 5? Buddy is 46. And I'm not saying that Jensen Ackles is a senior citizen, but they haven't even finished the script yet. By the time that they start filming, he's practically going to be 50 years old. But even if we weren't going by James Gunn's criteria, Don't you guys want a Batman in his prime? Not a Batman who's inspired by The Dark Knight Returns or even a year one Batman. I'm talking about prime fantastical Batman. Speaking of fantastical, I think my number 4 spot definitely has the physique to pull off a fantastical Batman, and of course I am talking about none other than Alan Ritchson. This behemoth of a man stands at 6'3". This is his physique, and he's 41 years old. So he's a little bit out of the ideal age range, but it's only by 1 year, so he's not completely disqualified like Jensen Ackles. Now, what I like about Alan Ritchson is that he seems to be a true fan of DC, and whenever fans reach out to him about playing Batman possibly, he shows so much enthusiasm.
I would love to play Batman. There, I said it, okay? I'll shout it from the rooftops. I want to be Bruce Wayne!
Another positive for Alan Ritchson, he is already familiar with the superhero landscape because he played Aquaman in Smallville and he played Hawk in Titans. And now we have to talk about the reason that I put him so low, and honestly, I'd rather just show you a clip and then explain.
You're under arrest, asshole.
No. These guys took a run at us in broad daylight at a crowded funeral. They're getting desperate. Means this thing's coming to a head fast. We take him in, he lawyers up and doesn't talk until it's too late and a terrorist has 650 chances to take down a commercial airliner.
So what do you want me to do?
Look the other way.
Oh, come on, man.
Now, a lot of people probably would have taken a look at that scene from Reacher and used it as a reason as to why Alan Ritchson should play Batman. And I completely understand why, because I specifically picked that clip because their dynamic parallels that of Batman and Gordon's. But I also picked that clip because that was the most Batman-adjacent character that we've ever seen Alan Ritchson play, and yet I was not getting Batman aura from it. And that's the thing about Alan Ritchson. Whenever I've seen him in scenes where he's supposed to give off intimidation, I get these hints of softness.
Hey, yo!
And I'm not saying I wouldn't be shitting my pants if I was the guy getting choked up against the car. But what I am saying is that I think me crapping my pants would have more to do with his stature than his intimidation factor. So overall, the main things holding Alan Ritchson back, in my opinion, are that he's just a bit too old and he lacks the Batman aura. Out of everything I've seen him in, I've just never gotten that from him, and you can't fake the Batman aura. Now, on the contrary, I've only seen my number 3 pick in one thing, but best believe he has Batman aura. Now, I bet 90% of you have never heard of Ethan Peck, so before we get into his stats, let me just show you a little clip.
It's not responding.
You have to draw it out.
Fight it, Bob. Make it angry.
Rage that is in my thoughts. I let into my heart.
You know what's crazier than the fact that this dude has the best Batman voice among every Batman fan cast that I have ever seen? It's the fact that his grandfather, Gregory Peck, was the inspiration for the Batman look in Alex Ross's Kingdom Come. Additionally, people on my TikTok reminded me that Batman and Superman look very similar in some continuities, and this is David Cornsweet and Ethan Peck side by side. Now, if we want to bring it back to the stats, Ethan Peck is 6'1". He is the only actor in the correct age range so far at 38 years old, and this is his physique. Now, he could use some work, but people forget that Henry Cavill looked like this before he got on the
Chicken and broccoli all day, nothing else.
Now, if you couldn't tell, Ethan Peck is my personal favorite Batman fan cast, but we're ranking based on James Gunn's criteria, and unfortunately, there are still 2 guys that I think are more fitting for what James Gunn is trying to do. But I'm trying so hard not to be biased. It's my list. All right, coming in at number 2, we have Aaron Taylor Johnson, and do I really have to say much here? Because first of all, the dude is familiar with popular superhero franchises. He was Kick-Ass, Quicksilver, and Kraven, and regardless of how you feel about those roles, as an actor, he's got the goods. Furthermore, he is only 34 years old, and I have never seen him without an incredible physique. So if we're looking for the longevity, this might be our guy. But honestly, the biggest detriment to Aaron's game is that he is 5'11".
Hell no, man. What the?
That's 5 inches shorter than David Cornsweet. So now that I think about it, if it came down to Aaron Taylor Johnson or Ethan Peck, I think James Gunn might pick Ethan Peck, and I may have been a little hasty with my ranking. All right, I guess you guys convinced me. Aaron Taylor Johnson 3, Ethan Peck 2. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. What if if I just didn't say. Number 1 is Brandon Sklenar. Now, if you haven't heard of Brandon Sklenar, let me just tell you, this dude was made to be the DCU Batman. And I'm not gonna lie, that hurts me as a Ethan Peck fanboy. But if we're just being objective, this dude is 34, 6'2", this is what he looks like, and just take a look at this clip.
Got about 30 seconds of this bullshit in me. Then I'm gonna mop the fucking floor with you. We should go. This your son? He is. I kill for a living. You do not want him to fight me.
No, I do not.
Then control him.
Now, if you don't see Batman in that clip, then you're lying. And I haven't mentioned the fatherly aspect since Jensen Ackles, but I've heard some girls online calling Brandon Sklenar daddy, so he must be a good dad. Also, I was kind of going in on Alan Ritchson, even though I like him as an actor and I want him in the DCU, just not as Batman. So if you guys have any recommendations on who he should play, I said he would be a good Green Arrow, but some people on my TikTok said he would be a better Wildcat or Shazam, and I was like, damn, those are kind of good. So if you have any more, let me know in the comments down below. But that's gonna be all. If you like what you saw, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.